story that I have used in presentations myself is door number 4. Mm-hmm. And it was in the late 80s. At this point, you had started selling shampoo, but you weren't making it. And the supplier passed away. And the wife of the supplier, it was your only supplier at the time, said she's going to shut the business down. She had some other resources. She didn't need it. Yeah. So she was going to shut it down. Well, you guys were up against the wall. Like, okay, well, we have all these orders we got to fulfill. And you tell the story of how she offered to sell the business, and your dad and you had come to, your family had come to a price that you thought was fair. Well, she asked for more. And it was like, okay, God, you're shutting this door. We don't know what we're going to do, but okay, we're not going to buy it at that price. Right.
Marie.
And then, tell us about Marie and how she entered the story in a way that you couldn't have orchestrated.
Yeah, it was amazing. I actually was walking around that warehouse that day when my dad was, trying to buy the company, and then all of a sudden the lady said we couldn't buy, we couldn't come up with the price that she had offered, and we said, well, can we just buy product? And we asked Marie, because we were like their biggest customer at that time, and we were buying maybe $2,000 or $3,000 a month of shampoo from them. And Marie walked us through and told us everything we needed to buy. And when we walked away, we got it for just pennies on the dollar. And then we turned to Marie and we said, Marie, would you actually come and teach us how to make shampoo? And she said yes. And then we said, would you give us the formulas? She said no. But after a year of her doing it, we learned the formulas, but she taught us how to actually make shampoo, and we kind of perfected it over the years. But it was just your verse. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he'll make your path straight. We were trusting God to walk through this. We were not leaning on our own understanding, because our own understanding would do this. And then all of a sudden we're just like, God, you got to have this. So we acknowledge him. And all of a sudden he's just making this path that we were not expecting. And, you were talking about things that you remember in the video. As I was looking through the video, even myself, I know the story. And then Darren tells a story of a guy named Ted Kent. I like Darren's way he talks about Ted Kent.
Yeah, British guy that looks like the guy from Jurassic Park.
That's right.
What he says.
And one thing that Ted said to Darren when Darren had cancer in 1990 was, Darren, I have a word over my life. And he goes, and my word is for you. That's legacy. That's passing on. That's a ripple effect. And it's cool, those things that you just, man, even for myself as being part of the story, all of a sudden you go, I can take that for myself. So as people watch our video, it's stuff that they can take for themselves, not just, oh, that was good for them. It's like, no, you can actually take and impart these principles, these thoughts, these things that you get from it into your life, like praying when my dad prayed. All of a sudden you did it. So
yeah, I love it. And it's the depth that you went into the stories, not just, we had a problem and it was solved and, God provided a way. It's like, no, let's really sit in the difficulty of that moment and honor that and recognize it. Because we don't always want to do that as competitive people, even as Christians, whatever you want to say, like business people. We just want to talk about, we had a challenge, we got through it. Now we're doing great.
Right.
And this story, this project is not that. It is walking through the valleys and acknowledging how difficult that was. One of your sisters telling the story how she couldn't even ask her parents for $3 to buy a school supply because didn't have it. And this clip from the project includes that story.
I was in a Christian high school, and I was taking French class, and one of the requirements for the classes that I needed a French Bible. And I remember going home, had a couple weeks to come up with that $3, but my parents, things were so tight, I knew I could not ask him for $3. And so I just kept praying, God, I need $3. I didn't have a job, had no money, kept checking my purse. No, there was nothing there. So finally, it was the night before, and I reached down in my purse one more time, and I realized that there had been a hole in the bottom coin section of my purse, and there was $3 there. I was just so touched. I'm like, God, you provided for me. And, right now we can look at this big, beautiful building and we can say, $3, what's that? But for me back then, that $3 was, I believe, a springboard of faith.
She's in high school. Like that's a challenging, situation to be in. And so the story, the overall story dives into these details.